Like in the next 10 years, we're gonna evolve more than in the last 100 years together. Yeah. And I'm afraid youth will get so distracted by this technology, like, you know, social media, like artificial intelligence. That is my only concern, like on how the technology is gonna impact in the youth development, you know, and hopefully, you know, we can create some crazy AI coaching, you know, that will revolutionize the soccer. But for me, it's gonna be a battle of the people and players that will bring soccer back to the roots and keep it like classic.
Not just for entertainment.
Exactly, not for only entertainment. We truly need to teach that, you know. So again, having more programs like Immortals, you know, ISL, Tiki Taka, and focusing on keeping it classic, keeping it, you know, personal, on the ground, on day to day.
Social media can be put away and my life won't really change. Maybe I'll have more free time, won't know what to do with my life. Yeah. But it will not affect me at all. Physically, no. Mentally, no. But once you start to realize that, that's when you really start to mature. It doesn't matter.
How old are you again?
14.
I mean,
oh yeah, you're doing well, man.
You sound like a 21-year-old kid. Believe me, like
my mom.
I think you had received like the right education, like based on the way you are like putting it like out, like it's just, you're special. Like it is good that we're talking about this for the other ones, the majority, you know, that really cares about these likes, about, you know, like this, you know, being approved, you know, accepted, you know, that's the only way. That's very inspiring, and it gives me hope, you know, like, because I started, you know, this last, you know, future thing, scared about, you know, what's next, and you know, meeting you today, you know, gives me hope on how we can, you know, protect, you know, this game and make the right impact. So keep going that way. It's inspiring to have, you know, shared that moment with you and these conversations, and hopefully you guys can have like a successful like professional career, your son as well, and we can all help, you know, the U.S. soccer grow for many more years. First thing is the touch, you know, that's the first visual like thing that you see is the touch. But then you need to dig a little bit more of that, you know? Who is behind this player? What is his support system? That's, for me, the most important. And I remember when I played for Barcelona, before I signed for Barcelona, Barca was months into like scouting me, like asking my teachers what were my rates at school, asking my teammates like how I was in the locker room, asking my dad, like things that I didn't know. But then, like, after the years, I was told that, you know, Barca was asking all these questions, which makes a lot of sense. And yeah, that will be what I look into on a play. I mean, if you truly like make these little minutes count on these big teams, you will have better exposure, but it's depending on what's the ultimate goal. Are you playing, you know, like for fun, or are you playing, you know, because you want to make it professionally, you know? But me, I will always choose to play like in a not as good team, but have more minutes, always. Having a kid that truly respects you first as a mentor, that's the most important part, you know? If you have a kid that doesn't see you as, you know, a mentor figure, it won't respect you. So I think the first and most important is respect.
The inspiration that drives me the most is the thought of little me ever seeing me on a big stage in front of thousands of people. And what drives me is just the thought of that younger Vihan just making this his dream, and I just want to pursue that.
Love that, yeah.
One time I thought about quitting was when I was, a few years back, I used to play for an ECNL team. I was putting in double the work than everyone, yet I was still getting 7 minutes out of 70, 10% playing time, and I really thought that maybe this is just not the path for me, but then I realized that it's just not the team, so I ended up moving to a lower team, EA. I got more minutes, they became MPL, I got way more minutes. I started getting seen by these coaches, got trials with Galaxy, all of that. And that's when I decided to take the next step, and now I play for an MLS Next team. And now I'm playing full games, full 90 minutes. And I feel like that path, that thing that made me stop was essential to teach me that it's not always me, it's external sources, or maybe it's my mindset. So that just taught me that change is needed in my life. You need to take a step down to move up. You
truly need to go through these tough times to, you know, to really grow as a player. And I've been in the same place. I remember seeing all my teammates promoting to this team and me getting in the B team when I was like your age, 14. And I decided to stay in the B team, but my main thought was I was crying to my dad, saying, Papa, like I don't want to play anymore. And my dad was like, come on, like you show them what you got. And by getting more minutes, more time, you know, like doing a step back, I did too. And then like Espanyol signed me like as a 15-year-old, and the rest is history. So it's always important to go through these difficult times.
What identifies a good teammate for me is someone that always pushes you. Sure, they may get worked up, they may yell at you, but at the end of the day, they leave what happened on the field and become more than just a teammate, a friend, a person to talk to. And I think that characteristic is needed because you can't just have a connection on the field. You also need to have a personal connection off the field, which really matters. When I was young, of course, I destroyed many connections because I get worked up, I get mad, maybe I mess around too much, but they need to leave what happened on the field, off the field, and bring friendship, and more than just somebody that you're playing next to, bring friendship onto the field and bring internal and genuine connection and finding someone that actually wants to see them do better than you.
And you know, like taking care of these relationships at this young age is so important, because now as a 35-year-old, I tell you that some of my best friends come from when I was playing 16 years old. I'm best man of Thiago Alcantara's wedding. I introduced to his wife, you know, I'm best friends with Jonathan Dos Santos. They're like all these relationships, like I've been taking care as friends, and we went from teammates to friends, and now we are family. And you never know how like things will turn, you know, like maybe like in 20 years, one of your teammates in your team will be the sports director in this club. So it's very, very important that we take care on the way we are gonna, you know, approach and treat each other. It's very important. It's a good one.
So I say the biggest thing that I would look for when evaluating coaches, and I have recently, is a track record. I'm pretty serious about my son's development. I feel like as a parent, it's kind of like your job not to be involved in every single part, but at least to kind of like set it up, to have at least an understanding of a plan to execute. Because otherwise you're kind of just doing it blindly, and that's not a plan. And then if you don't get what you want, it's because you didn't have a plan. So you want a coach that is going to kind of just be aligned with your child's development. And the only way to do that without being coached is to see what they've done in the past. So even with evaluating his college coach, great track record of developing MLS players, great track record of developing kids specifically within his position. So even though it's still a couple years out, I can entrust him to do the right things with my son because he's done it with other people's. So I would say track record is the biggest thing before anything. The biggest thing that inspires me about this sport would be that even if you have a super dominant team and you have a bottom place team, anything could happen in that game. And I think that's the reason why people watch, because it's different in maybe like American football. If you have a super dominant team playing like it's like you could see it, but when the game is so fluid in soccer where, you know, even if you have elite players, one mistake could equal an opportunity for that lesser team, and then they can just play a low block the rest of the game and you might not get that point, and that's how you get like that 1-0 win. So I do like that, and I like the energy that it creates for people. The biggest worry would be just, I guess with any parent, is just like distraction seeping in, because you can do, or you could think you're doing a great job. All it takes is just, you know, one wayward distraction, or maybe your child not being on point, or you maybe not preparing them for something. That would be the worst thing, is something happening to him that I didn't prepare him for, and then me kind of thinking that something that I should have prepared him for. Because there's a lot of highs with parenting, but there are some lows, but mostly it's all internal. Because you just have to take a step back, and as long as you could, you know, look at things and your kid is happy, that should make you happy.
Guys, how do you see soccer in the future, like in the next 10 years here in Los Angeles?
So obviously with the Olympics coming up, with the World Cup coming up, there's a lot of investment that you talked about, but the impact that has is going to be felt from the younger generations, from maybe like a 5-year-old kid in Watts who's never even seen soccer before. He might catch a game at SoFi and he might be inspired, and that might, you know, that will start a spark, and he'll go back to his neighborhood and start playing. Something that needs to happen is probably more competition with the leagues, and I do see that as well with the USL competing with MLS, because I know that there's investment there, and I think you know, when you have two competing leagues for #1, I mean, that's only going to make everyone better. So I think there'll be probably more opportunities for kids to play at a high level for academy. You won't have to just worry about playing for an LAFC or an LA Galaxy. You can play for a top USL club who also has similar facilities, and you can get that similar experience. I think the next 10 years for soccer in Los Angeles are going to look very bright. As long as there's, people like you, Immortals, Mantoa, that are, helping the kids out and guiding and making sure that the resources that are being given are squandered.
I also think in the future, soccer right now is kind of like an extra thing on the side, not really something grown into the culture here. I feel like in the next 10 to 15 years, soccer will become part of the roots of American culture. And I think that if we continue with the World Cup coming, as he said, it's going to plant seeds and kids are going to start thinking and wondering and becoming curious and realize there is a path for them in this sport. The culture and the roots and the ethnic diversity and depth there is of this sport, and we're just on the surface. There's so much. We're just the tip of the iceberg, but we need to make sure that we do it correctly. I may not admit it, but when you see someone doing better than you, it triggers something in you. You feel angry. You wonder what you don't have instead of thinking the things you do have. And I think that social media is a platform that plant seeds of doubt in your mind. No matter who you are, somebody's always doing better than you. Of course, there's those, top 1%, that's the best. But not everyone, the other 99% is always looking at the top 1% and being like, oh, what are they doing? How come they get this? And they start to worry about others, which I think that when people post something on social media, I'm like, oh, why can't, what am I doing wrong? And so instead of focusing on what I can do right and focusing on me to become better, I'm wondering what he did instead of trying to look inside myself and look internally and find the missing piece and trying to take that piece from him instead. And it's like taking a piece from another puzzle and putting it into yours. It's not going to fit.
I mean, it's really important to find like an inspiration, but also it is important to understand that we shouldn't believe everything that we see in the internet.
Right.
Guys, it was an absolute pleasure. You are the beast.
Thank you.
I want to keep following both of your, your son's career, and yourself, pay more attention, and you can count on me for anything you want. If you have any questions about, hey, but I can improve this, and same likewise for your son's career. I was a player, but I also was a manager, an agent of soccer players. So I know that your son is in a very important moment of his career. If you ever need, any piece of advice, you can count on me. Immortals will always be there for us, but we're part of the family. So whatever you guys need, I'm here.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Let's go. And cut.